Good morning. This is Urban Cowgirl Msparadise from Urban Paradise Homestead, Mama Deb's Eggs. I have the pleasure this morning to interview John. He was willing to do a quick interview about his perspective on Veterans Day. So, good morning, John.
Good morning.
John, have you ever served in the
I
military?
have not served.
Did you have a desire to serve?
Well, that's yes and no. I was in the military family.
Okay.
I had military in my family.
And could you quickly mention who they are?
Yeah, my dad was a World War II Marine, 1st Division, South Pacific, which they have a program on TV right now about it's called Pacific, about the 1st Marines.
Okay.
And
Good.
What's the girl's name? It's in this.
So John,
And then I had a brother in the Air Force, and then I had a son in the Coast Guard.
okay. What era did you grow up in, John?
Vietnam.
Awesome. They're one of my favorites. So you said you didn't go in. So what deterred you?
Well, I had student deferment. I was a student deferment, and most of the people in that day were everybody was going to college to just try to stay out of the draft, because unlike today, where veterans get their rightly deserved honor, back in those days, the Vietnam veterans did not get their rightly deserved honor. They went over there and spilled their blood and died, and so I was going to school, going to college, and I just felt like the Lord spoke to me and said, "Go down and sign up. I'll go down and sign up 1A on the draft."
Okay.
Because they were doing the draft thing, they were doing the ping pong ball thing.
Could you kind of just quickly elaborate on this ping pong thing?
Well, it didn't last long, but what they would do is they had a big contraption there that would spit out a ping pong ball with a number on it, and then your birth date was assigned to that number. So if that number came up, they knew that your birthday was on that date, and you just got drafted.
Okay. Could you go into when how your numbers were coming up? I believe you had kind of mentioned that to me.
Well, it was a miracle. I mean, the way I perceived it, it was a miracle. They had my number was a relatively low number of 100, and I think it was 144, something like that was the number, and the year before they went over 365 twice, and then my eligibility was come. I had to run 1 year eligibility with the draft, and people thought I was crazy. People thought I was crazy.
Where's Mr. Rudy?
People thought I was crazy, so they because you're crazy to go down and sign up 1A when you got a 4F student deferment.
Yes.
I said, I have to do this. So
Yes.
I went down, and when I went down to sign up 1A, the guy looked at me like I'd lost my mind. He says, you got a student deferment here. What do you? I want 1A. He said, okay. So I signed up 1A. And then my year of eligibility, when it came there before that, they were running well over 365 days. In other words, they were getting everybody that. And then when they came up to me, my number was 144. The best I can recollect now, my number was 144, and they stopped at 143.
Wow.
And this was just
A miracle.
a miracle. And then the year after that, they went back.
And you still didn't get picked.
And I did not get picked. Then after that, you're 1 year removed, so they would have to actually go 365, 465, 500. They'd have to pull 500 numbers out of to get me at that point. So I was, I did my one year, and the reason I did that is because I had a lot of friends going over there and had some of them dying, and I said, I don't want to be called a draft dodger or some kind of something like that. That I wanted to do my diligence, so I went down and signed up. I mean, I went down and went 1A,
Yes.
and it just didn't happen.
And it just didn't
the Lord
happen.
took care of me.
And you wound up going to college. You were in college.
Yeah.
And what did you take, John?
I finished the college.
And what was your
Business administration.
business administration? That is an awesome testimony that God was ordering your steps. You followed his instructions, but he saw fit, although it would have been very commendable, but there was a higher power looking over you, and you did have a hedge of protection around you.
Absolutely.
So, John, I want to thank you for being a good friend.
Well, thank you.
And if you guys heard some quick little interruptions, it was because I'm off the clock and John is on the clock, and he was willing to do this for me. So I actually did 6 years in the Army Reserves. My MOS was medical supply specialist, and I did all stateside. I did not do any wartime, but it has been my honor to meet people, civilians like John, who had the heart to want to be a soldier, and for God's purpose, it just didn't happen. But he's still on the battlefield for God, and I'm still on the battlefield for God. And you guys take care, and I hope you enjoyed this short segment. Me and my buddy John. Thank you, John, again. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.